are listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality.
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
Goof On Radio.
You were either in or you were either out, brother.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Goof On Radio.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You're listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
All right. Welcome to Goof On. No disclosure today. That's okay. We knew that going into it when Burchett said there's not going to be any aliens or UFOs today. That is what he said. So we went right into it this morning with Burchett. First thing he says, we ain't gonna see no aliens or UFOs today, so sorry to disappoint everybody. Right? All right. I knew we could count on you to tell us how it really is. Burchett. It was fun, though. It was fun. And we're gonna have you guys join in the fun with me so we can talk about it. So we could talk about it and discuss, because that's what we do here at the Goof. We discuss things. And I know there was a lot of people who were very opinionated this morning. I saw. You know, we were here 2.5 hours. I don't know how long we're going to do this tonight. Hour and a half, maybe, whatever. Because there wasn't much to go on. Everything has been repeated. So when you come on tonight, what are you going to say? Right? There's not much you can. It's like, yeah, it was pretty good. I guess, you know, well, maybe you guys. Well, hold on. Here we go. Something's going on in my ear. I hear an echo of my own show. Now it's gone. No, there it is. That's weird. I had a tab open to my channel and just started playing all of a sudden. That is just bizarre.
Here, I want to thank everybody for making this happen today, and I want to remind everybody this is a nonpartisan issue. This has nothing to do with party politics. I think the cover-up goes a lot deeper than that. I also want to thank my colleagues, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, sitting beside me here.
Apolluna.
Jared Moskowitz.
Apollonia.
Friend across the aisle,
She's a little
incredible
loony.
mind, and I'm anxious to hear his questions. My buddy Eric Burleson, and it's not in my notes here, but Matt Gates. If it hadn't been for Matt Gates, myself, him, and Luna would still be down at Eglin Air Force Base trying to get some answers. He's got an incredible legal mind. Also, I know I saw it in the crowd there, George Knapp, my buddy Jeremy Corbell. They're not witnesses, but they've provided some statements on this subject, and I seek unanimous consent to enter those statements into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
Also, would like to enter in, I understand now that this is unclassified and it's public record, but as we all know, that's sometimes difficult for the public to get a hold of. A report, Defense Intelligence reference documents, advanced space propulsion based on vacuum, space-time metric engineering, some light reading for some of our members.
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. Knapp wrote, since 1969, the position our military has been that UFOs pose no threat to national security and are not worthy of further study. I'd say that's the biggest understatement of the decade.
We can stop it right there. In 1969, 54 years ago, they said UFOs are unimportant. No need to study them. They're a threat. Now, again, they've now been reborn as a threat. I'm going to put the link to the show in now in the chit chat room and then post it to the top of the Zimbabwe chat room. Let's do a little bit of quick roll call for people who are here. What's up, Moon Dragons? Thor Panko, Bob Perkins, the Shirtless Wonder, Brett S, Brooke is Easy _ E _ 21. Welcome to the show. Diane Boz, the boss of Goof On, Glenn Collins, Brooke is again, Samantha Morris, the kitty cat, Sapphire Elf, David Wilcox, not Wilcock. Welcome to the show, everybody. Mind Forked, how you doing today? Alfie J. Bob, what do you say, AJB? Kilroy is here. You like that? See what I did? You know who Kilroy is, right? Of course you do. XJ, not to be confused with X-Ray. Freestone, Big Tim, what do you say? Tim Freestone, Big Fat Crepe. In the summer of 69. FAP. All right, let's get started. Paula Faust, Joshua Morphew. If I didn't say your name, Jake Haas. Buddy Choo Choo, Monkey Man, Josie UK, Jimmy Satterfield. I always think I see Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld. Hilton Ramirez, Brett S. All right, if I didn't say your name, doesn't mean I don't love you. It means we got a lot of show to talk about tonight. And you guys are joining me, so I'm going to drop this link to the show in the chit chat room right now. In the summer of 69. Okay. Link to join show. And a gush all over the chat room. Pin the message, and then I'll throw the banner up that goes along the bottom of this. Join the show with the pinned link. Capiche? All right, check this out.
He also goes on to talk about the dismissive attitude. It's at odds with what was revealed in documents, reports, and internal memos. And Mr. Cabral says, as he writes these words, the UFO is emerging as a major topic of global importance. I can state that as a fact. Out there, I met a fellow who came in here all the way from Denmark to be here for this meeting. So this is huge. This is worldwide. I think we suspect what's going on, but I'd also like to thank the members of Congress who have supported our efforts to make this hearing happen. Some have even confided to me that they've had UFO sightings of their own. Those members, of course, some of them wish to remain anonymous, and I'll keep it that way. But also, finally, I'd like to thank these three brave witnesses here. They took an oath. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and dadgummit, they're doing it. And we owe them a debt of gratitude.
Dadgummit! 30-second sitting ovation.
Y'all quit clapping. You're cutting in on my time. Just kidding. These folks, they've got nothing to gain from this, and I think you're going to find out that they've endured quite a few slings and arrows. We need to remember them in our prayers and their families. And I'm thankful to them for their honest testimonies. They've done interviews and appeared in documentaries like Accidental Truth to get their stories out there. And now they are all here to testify under oath for Congress. It's been so difficult to get here today. I've said, in the Baptist church, we'd say that the devil's in our way. And the devil has been in our way through this thing. We've run into roadblocks from members, from the intelligence community, the Pentagon. I proposed legislation to go in the FAA reauthorization that just said if an airline pilot has a sighting, that when he makes that report to the FAA, that it would come to Congress. But I was told that the intelligence community did not like that, and the amendment was not even heard in committee. I think it's time for this country to take back our country. We need to tell the folks at the Pentagon they work for us. Dadgummit, we don't work for them. And that's exactly the point. This is an issue of government transparency. We can't trust a government that does not trust its people. We're not bringing little green men or flying saucers into the hearing.
I'll stop it there. It made me a little sad. Ice cream shots! Hey, man. Welcome to this evening's show. How you doing?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm rebounding after this morning's 2.5 hour interesting subcommittee hearing on UFOs. How did you think it went?
You probably think I'm crazy. I enjoyed it.
I did too. I loved it. I really did.
Yeah. What was your favorite part? Let me ask you really quick. What was your favorite part so far?
Looking back on it, I actually liked the question and answer part at the end. After they all did their thing. And what I liked about this also, even though it was 2.5 hours, it wasn't boring. It was well organized and everything kept moving. It was one thing after another and it was all interesting. I had a great time. I think the whole thing was great. My favorite part was the ending, but the organization of it was really, really well done. Well.
Yeah, they were.
What about you?
Point. Yeah, they were on point. Shit, yeah. 2.5 hours. I could have watched 8 more hours of that. I mean, it was crazy to hear what. I mean, whether or not we believe what Grush is saying or not, you got to admit that's damn interesting to hear this kind of conversation in this position right now. It is crazy. But I think my favorite part is that everyone should be happy with this, even debunkers, everybody, people who don't believe, skeptics, people who do. The reality of it is, guys, is that a line has been drawn in the sand. And it kind of was drawn a little bit when the hearing was announced, but a line for real has been drawn in the sand. And what I mean by that is Grush has got up here and said a lot. And this was the number one thing that I wanted to really see and experience from the hearing was, is he going to have the same talk when he gets in there? And he kind of did. I mean, at least 95% of what he said, he kept up with in there in a roundabout way. But the reason why there's a line drawn in the sand, Rich, is because the congressional, they're going to go look into this stuff. He said 100%. I mean, you can't believe that they're not. What do you think they were doing there today? To not investigate what the guy's saying? They're going to. And it's either going to come out that he's right and this is what's going on, or he's full of shit and it's not. And either way, we're going to get to the bottom of the truth of it. The problem that I think that I haven't heard anybody say yet is that ufology is in a real fragile spot right now, because this guy is way bigger claims than Elizondo, way bigger claims than, in my opinion, than even Lazar. He's the biggest guy that's come out and said anything, especially on this kind of a platform. And if he tanks, he might take ufology right down with him, because what are you just going to sit around, wait for the next guy to come in and say he's Grush, and then we're going to find out another 2 months to find out he's full of shit? Like, I think this is really dangerous. The good thing is if this does continue, any more people that come out like a Lazar or any of these stories, we don't have to wait 20 years to get the truth of what's going on. They're going to look into them, and that's going to be it, and we're going to be able to move on.
Maybe. You said all the right stuff. I think exactly the way you do so far, but I don't think the government will allow them to get what they want and get that evidence. Like, you know how Grush was deflecting some things. You know, oh, I got to do this, and what did he call it? A skiff? What was it?
Yeah, the skiff. Yep.
It was. Oh, I just guessed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So hey, I can't talk about it here. You know, I got to do this. That was frustrating because, you know, if they're going to look into this stuff, he says he knows exactly where the bodies are.
Yeah.
You know, so, all right, he couldn't say it today where the bodies are, but why? You know, that's what's frustrating. Like, what's so bad about saying Wright-Patterson Air Force Base? Because I think they're afraid the public's going to want to go out there maybe. I just don't get it. Or maybe our adversaries will want to go check it out. Spies and send spies over. Who knows? You don't know. That's why I think some of this stuff has to be kept secret for now. But I don't think as positively about the future of disclosure as you might, or maybe after today, what others might feel now.
No, I don't mean it as as I have like an appreciation for disclosure coming. I don't think so. Like everything that he said and everything that they did, that didn't, I don't believe the guy more now or anything. Not at all. I still think we're in the same spot we were. I think it's fun to listen to that stuff and that's great. Yeah. But I think that they're establishing this line in the essentially a wood chipper to throw these guys into that are lying, because if they go into it and they look it up and they find that there's nothing to it, we can throw them out. Now, you make a good point though, Rich. You say, well, these guys, what if they can't get to that information to verify it? Well, then what are we doing with any of this for then? Then we're never going to know anyway. So what does it make a difference at that point? You know, if Congress can't get to it and we're not getting good whistleblowers, where are we going? You know,
we have seen this government and many governments, but since we live here, we know our government lies. We know they'll do whatever it takes to keep the lie, including the ultimate decision on a life. And I don't see that changing just because there's people drawing a line in the sand. They're sitting there going, humans, you know, what do they think we're going to do? Oh, I feel so much pressure. Here's Roswell information. Here's this one from Brazil. It's not going to be that easy. So I don't understand how they think that doing this is going to force the government to do anything. They don't have to do shit, because they're the government and they don't care about we wanting UFO technology or anything, because whoever's running the country is going to keep it the way it is and the way they want it.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think they're not. I most likely 99.999% they're never going to get to it. I agree with you.
Yeah,
that's 100% the case. But they're doing it because I've been kind of spouting this for weeks now, which is that it's a two-part thing that they're doing. Yes, Elizondo and these guys are grifting. Yes, they're making money. Yes, they're doing all that. But we have to remember these guys are believers too. They're also trying to get disclosure. I do think so. I think they're beating at the door a little bit at the same time. I do. So I think it's both things at once, even though most people seem to try to have to separate it. I don't know why they can't believe in aliens and want money at the same time, but I mean, I work for a living and you know, I believe in there's alien life or something out there. So I think you can do both. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think they'll be able to get to it. I have look at Gates saying he's got the picture. Where's the picture? You know, he said he's seen a picture at Eglin. So who knows where it's going to go essentially. The only thing I know is that for me, at least, Rich, and I don't know about you, but by the first quarter of next year, if we don't have some kind of confirmation that Grush is either correct or has been, you know, telling a fishtail, I just don't see how Congress has any power to do anything else. Then, if they can't verify him, what are they going to do, you know, for us?
That is so true. And then what happens when he doesn't get the evidence he wants? Does it all start falling apart for them?
Well, that's what I mean by the line.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean by, Rich, the line in the sand. The line in the sand is for ufology. It's not for the government. What I mean by that is a line in the sand to where people are going to stop. I think a lot of people are going to stop believing, man. I think a lot of people are going to end up taking a break from the topic because this has just been built up so much. And we've already had Lazar not show up. He's running, so we can already cut that out. And you have a lot of ufology that's going to start to crumble if they actually do start to pull out some facts here, and that's just going to be troublesome for the whole topic, man.
Why would you say Lazar's running? The government, this is all about government shit. This isn't about a citizen, like Bob. But do you really believe Bob Lazar?
No. I'm saying that this is proof that because he won't go tell this BS at this hearing. He won't go. Well, because they're gonna ask him about the 115, and that's a lie. He doesn't have it. I don't believe Bob. I'm saying that Bob is proof that this line in the sand that's being drawn, these hearings, what it's doing is it's kicking all these liars out. If you don't show up to these hearings and you don't have anything to say, you're not there because you don't have anything, man. That's why. So all these other guys who the other channels, I'm not going to bring up names.
Yeah.
But these guys it's going to be more and more apparent that it's like, oh, you have these secret programs that you're in. Well, why aren't you there in Congress? Oh, because you don't have anything. And then these guys are going to get weeded out one by one by one by one. And it's going to be a domino effect. And that's why I'm saying for all of ufology, Rich, it could be a problem for keeping many people around in this because nothing's coming out. And it's going to show a lot of these people have been lying for more than 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And it's going to come out. It's a line in the sand I think they're drawing.
Wow. I think you're right, too. Greater Fun Spurge. Thanks for joining in the discussion. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Richie.
Thanks for hanging out. And so you've watched it today?
Yeah, I was watching it live with you.
So what's on your mind? What do you think? Disclosure, or is this just something to give a confidence boost for the next whistleblowers? Where are we now?
I mean, maybe, what you say in that respect, whether it's like, I've never heard a confidence boost before, but it seems like
I think
like when you have tropical fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe it's you can't have too much at once, not in terms of the public, but in terms of getting the right people to come forward. It's a delicate process. So that's interesting that you say that. Yeah.
I have to ask you to repeat what you said in the very beginning because you froze for about the first 5 seconds. You said something about a tropical fish tank. That's when we heard you, when you said tropical fish tank. Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you make that analogy. I've never heard it before, where it's not the public, but it's, it's the actual
government
system. Yeah, they have to gently acclimatize. It's not us, it's them, maybe.
Yeah. So it is. Right?
So you've had a lot of great comments while it was unfolding live. I found that interesting because I've always, I agree with you about the hearsay thing and all of that, but I feel like someone like Grush, even if he's a fake or not, I don't know, right? He's making official the exact same things you were saying at the time of the old whistleblowing just testimonies. Is that you need somebody to officially enter it into the record and say that, we know a little better. This is, nothing. This is nothing, Virgo. So they're holding back. So that's the thing I value about Grush as an entity or whatever, as an event.
Over the last couple of weeks, I've thought a lot about Grush, and even though he is hearsay, never saw anything, it's still very important what he's doing anyway. It's still him saying what we all are curious about, where, do we have bodies? Do we have the craft? And he's saying we do, and they're covering it up. And I'm here to tell you all about it. Now, the people he's heard that from, I don't have confidence that they know. And I may not know everybody he's heard it from, of course, but the people that we know he's heard it from, Jay Stratton, Corbell, and some others that we've seen in mainstream media. But as far as the people within the government that work alongside him that are telling him this, who are they? And we won't know until they retire or maybe never. It's just very, I know somebody and, and they said this. It's very, very vague. I mean, you have to see it with your own eyes. He even mentioned it later in the thing. He says, I've never seen anything with my own eyes. I'm like, hey, good for you to say that, though. He's not afraid to say that now.
Yeah.
But I think there's something missing from him. And I think it's his visual evidence that he saw it himself. I'd like him to see something. Anyway,
well, if
it's
it's Eric,
Grush.
if it's Eric Davis and Hal Puthoff, and these are the guys he's been talking to, we're in real trouble because
it is them.
Yeah, it could very well be.
Thank you. No, it is. You're right. It is all of them. Because when I listen to Weaponized, Jeremy tells us all the stuff that we don't know about, the behind the scenes shit. Yeah. That's why it's important to listen to Weaponized, because for me anyway, so I can, tell you guys what I'm hearing from the people within this organization and what's going on here today. Jeremy is responsible for some of these questions and maybe answers. Who knows? I just don't trust it. And it's very difficult for me to put faith in something that keeps getting stonewalled at every turn. I wish them luck. I want them. I love that this is happening. I'm just not, I'm not there yet in the belief that they're going to get somewhere. And the thing I need is evidence. I want to see one piece of evidence. Get me excited. They'll get the whole world excited, because if they show us something, man, don't you think that would bring it to the public? Like, here's some evidence. We're proving it now.
It has to go there, though, Rich.
It has to.
Well, it has to go there for the mainstream to even care.
Right.
We're still waiting for that. Now this hearing might get some traction because he said some pretty provocative stuff, but it's still not going to get everybody, your local deli counter guy, to give a crap about it. I was at the deli, and I was getting some meat or whatever, and I said to the guy, he said, "Hey, you got anything going this week?" I go, "I was looking for the UFO hearings that are coming up. Should be interesting." He goes, "UFOs? Huh? What?" And I go, "Yeah, the hearings, congressional hearings they're doing." Oh, his face kind of got dropped, and he's, "What's that about?" And I thought, God, man. And you know what it made me realize, Rich, is that these people aren't 6-8 months behind us. Some of these people are 5, 10, 15 years behind in information of what's going on and who ties into all this and who the hell even is Lou Elizondo. And like, they're so far back, man. It's just like such an eye opener. We're so ahead of the game on what's going on. And so they need evidence to kind of, maybe we can get it up to speed with some evidence. We can jump them past some of this stuff so they don't have to take as much time.
I have a friend of the family, is married to my cousin, and he follows ufology on a regular basis, but not like we do, right? Yeah. So he's telling me about something, and I go, not even true at all. And I go, yeah, I go, bro. He goes, so I tell him it was something about one of Jeremy Corbell's videos, and I said, nah, have you ever heard of the Boki or Boko, whatever, And he's like, really? He goes, that's not a pyramid object. I'm like, no, dude, it's a plane or a drone or something, because and I told him, and he's like, man, that sucks. Here I am telling everybody this is real, so he's going around making it worse, just as somebody from the public who doesn't understand the actual details, because they're just casual like everybody. And he's more casual than the casual, and he still doesn't know.
Yeah, well, the mainstream media doesn't help. They keep playing the same BS debunked clips over and over and over and over. They keep hammering it in, and then they have a hearing like this, and then they go, yeah, see, these videos must be real. Now this guy's saying that, and it's compound interest on compound interest, and it's like, God almighty, you guys don't even know really what's going on. Maybe that's on purpose. What do you guys think? Grader, what do you think? You think that's on purpose?
Yeah, Grader, what do you think of that?
Well, I think, that would then help us inform us to the motives, because you can only deduce motives unless you can read people's minds. So when you say it like that, I just think it might be very sophisticated disinformation, because they've had about 100 years to perfect disinformation and then really test it out in a real-time lab of the internet, like with Facebook and opinion polls and, politics and elections or whatever. They've had a lot of real-time data. So now they know, if they do it just like this, they could discredit ufology forever, maybe. I don't know.
Very good point. Yeah. No, you're right. They see it in real time. Interesting.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. I wondered if this whole thing was built up to get everybody excited about it and then just crash the party with it's not real and bury it the last time. Yeah, I mean, Lou said, I want to destroy ufology. Wow. That'd be a way to do it, buddy. That would be this would be a way to do it. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if Grush ends up coming out fully, provably bullshit, dude, ufology is gonna take a nuclear bomb hit from it. Real bad.
And that's exactly what I'm predicting will happen. Here, you got to check this out. I got this video of Elizondo from a few years ago.
Oh, this should be good.
It's just a quick. It's exactly what you just said. Listen to this. This is because Lou Elizondo was brought here to ufology to do this.
Look at that they gave me in the first place.
Well, hold on. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, look at that hat shirt combo. Geez, he got off Miami Beach, Rich, didn't he?
Yeah, he's talking to I don't know. He's in his Cuban attire. It looks good. It looks good.
Actually. Yeah.
I don't hate Lou.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
Right. I just hate that what he represents.
I like to tease him a little bit, though. Right? We like to tease him a little bit.
Absolutely. Give it to him the hardest way possible. But listen to this. This almost made me throw up.
The Department of Defense, ironically enough, to finish the very mission they gave me in the first place. I didn't ask for it. I'm not a UFO guy, not a ufologist. I never have been, I never will be. I'm a counterterrorism and counterespionage guy. I do counterintelligence, counterinsurgencies. That's what I do. And it just so happens that in 2008, I was asked to apply those same skill sets into the UFO community.
I mean, if his skill set is making fake accounts and, attacking people, I guess he did a great job.
That's exactly.
I don't really know what else he brought, Rich. What do you think he? I mean, I don't mean to get way off topic onto him, but what do you think he really brought?
Elizondo?
Yeah,
he brought the threat in, and well, when he was with TTSA, it was different because once he left TTSA, he went rogue basically because they held him back. They didn't get him on the interviews with the smaller podcasts like he started doing. He didn't start promoting himself the way he did. And so when he went rogue after TTSA, I think he started to do the job he was designed to do. And that is to find out what people really think is going on and what they think of a job he was doing in TTSA and everything else. For all I know, I told Lou Elizondo himself, I think you suck. And I didn't even know it was him. Who knows? I bet you I did.
Yeah.
Hey, Greater Funsberg, you wrote something in here in our private conversation. GoofOn is a terror organization confirmed. What does that mean?
Because Elizondo's.
Because Elizondo thought I was a terror organization. Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. You cut out. But I think I get what you were saying. That's funny, actually. Sally Monsal and Bob have joined us. What's up, fellas?
What's going on? I'm on the fence about everything. If you're going to ask me about what's going on with everything.
Yeah.
I am personally like I don't know, like for some reason these people were sworn into secrecy. They're government officials and we're trying to get information from them. And then you just showed a clip of Elizondo basically saying that he was basically disinfo planted basically, and we're supposed to trust his words. And I'm with you on that. I think we're just supposed to. He's there just so he can figure out the responses from us and stuff like that. I don't know. And then Greer, I just don't trust the guy, man. I really don't. I want to, but in the same time, he's a medical doctor and works for the government and stuff like that. Sworn to secrecy again. And he's there on a need to know for us. And then if we question him, or he even said it in this video, 90% of everything is basically disinfo. And if you go against him, you're disinfo. So I'm just like, whoa, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're felons and all this other stuff. I mean, he really was pouring it on thick. And the funny thing is, because he is who he is, those people started believing him. And and then it really turned into, when Lou reviews, Lou, whatever his name is, Lou Angeles, whatever you want to know him as. But he's the one who really exposed Lou for what he is. And I was very happy to see that when he put the email out saying exactly what we just talked about and Richard Butt and all this other stuff. So Lou, bad news for ufology, and his book will come out this next year and it'll tell us everything we want to know. And we're going to hate him even more, I believe. Bob, what's your thought process on this, Mr. B?
Well, actually, I came online just to give you my 2-cent thoughts about
your two nipples. What?
Yeah, my two nipples, Rich.
Let's go. So I'd love your 2 cents worth.
Yeah, exactly. I was like taking a fast forward step on all of this, and let's say like we wake up tomorrow because this hearing happened today, and they say we have like this big news in front of the Time magazine. All right, guys, it's real. We have there is alien existence somewhere. I want people to realize before that's gonna happen because Richard Dolan's gonna start talking about this and people after that. But now we are making contact. Okay, Richie, let's think about that.
What'd you just say?
Complication of let's just talk like, okay, we know there is something and we are thinking about making contact. Let's start from there. Okay. We know we are not alone. That is what's happening right now. And we are trying to understand how to make contact because that's what our leaders probably are thinking right now. Let's think about tax money or position over war, health system, because they're pretty much like what mean healthcare system for alien. I mean, we are there on those technical questions that open different angles and everywhere. You know, that's where I was thinking, Rich. A true human thinking about we are not alone. Let's take the ground and let's have an open mind, out of the box, out of the government that want us to think like sitting on a chair thinking nothing, and let's really go for it. You know, we are not alone. And what are the priority here? Are they like us? Do they have leaders? What are their politics? Amy had a show not long time ago. We tell like they have no anus and things like that. What the hell is that?
They have no what?
They have no no anus. You know, I don't know. You say that.
Oh, anus.
Yeah. So that means there's no food there. That's a part of the equation that is left away. So you want contact with an entity that don't eat or eat in which kind of way? We're going there. We are going there. So I know that officially we're not there, but we are going there. I leave it. I'm gonna leave it there.
And you're gonna like what do they say in the Congress? I heed my time. What do they say? When you're done, that's my time.
That's my
anybody.
time.
And I yield back.
I yield back.
You say you make my day. That's another.
That's what I'm thinking it comes down to, though, is consciousness. Are we ready for contact, or are they ready, or are the aliens themselves ready for contact for us and our consciousness level? I mean, there's a lot right there.
That is a good question, actually.
That is so far into the future.
Yeah,
it is, though. It really is.
I know.
There seems to be why, if they're so intelligent, they need to come on Earth. I mean, we need to be important for them at one point.
If they're from somewhere else, if they're sorry, Bob, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like if they're from somewhere else though, and they were able to get here, there's for sure they've stopped at other civilizations along the way though. I don't think we're the first to ever us to meet them. Like I think they've done this before. They've seen other places. They know how to talk to us. They know when to come in, when to go out. I truly don't think we're that special. That we're the only ones. Not even close. Like this is.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been here and went through this before. I remember I said this a long time ago with Rich. I was like, people say, why don't they land on the? I was gonna say, why don't they land on the White House lawn? Because they did that on Planet 54, and it was terrible. They're not gonna do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but those were different humans.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I believe
I have a really
special. There is something special in humanity. You can say that humanity is not special.
No, I don't mean it like that.
Saying that is being like the biggest deceiver ever. You know what I mean?
No, Bob. I don't mean that we're not special. I think, yeah, as human beings, we're special. Our consciousness for sure is special. But I think that there's a lot of humans. I don't think if there's a lot of humans, I don't think that devalues. Like if there was 45 million other civilizations that looked like me, that doesn't devalue me. I don't think so, at least.
It goes back to consciousness, I think.
I'll be honest with you, Ice Cream, good conversation. I was listening to Thomas Fessler today, and he had a great guest. It was that whole guy with him, and he said the danger about the ending of that conversation that's happening right now is that people will feel that they're taking their God away from them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why couldn't God create the aliens? Why can't they just go with that? That's God created everything.
Right. If it's all that is, right?
And that's why in another show, I saw Martin Willis who gave a time with the priest who was there at the hearing. Martin Willis took time with the priest saying, so why are you here? And the priest was there. Well, it's a big heaven, and if this is real, it is very important for. So I felt it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
cool.
where I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier about consciousness. Some people I think are consciously ready because they have their own personal beliefs, their way of lives and stuff. And yes, it might shatter those realities, their beliefs and stuff like that. If there's aliens and if there's not aliens and stuff like that. So I think it's a consciousness thing, and it's always been like this in this reality. Maybe in this planet, some people are ready to enter and greet aliens. Some are ready to demonize them and do this and that. You know, I think it's just a conscience level where some of us are ready and some of us will never be ready.
And
Well,
I
some
think,
people.
Right on, right on.
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, some people say we're already in the consciousness transition. It may take a few hundred years for the planet, but once that happens, it's supposedly supposed to be so euphoric that people can't handle it and they die with the smile on their face. You know, it's this is going to happen in the future, and everybody's going to be changed by some sort of a spiritual or consciousness paradigm shift. And it happens because the planet makes it happen. And when you get in tune, when humans get in tune with the energy of the earth, something special can happen and you become one, and you can maybe have a one consciousness, or we could all feel each other better. We understand each other's thoughts. We're more empath, you know, more of an empathetic person. So all that's supposed to be happening now. That's why some people can see things, feel things, know things, and other people can't. Now, you hear me say it all the time. I don't believe in psychics, not the ones we've seen, but I believe there are people out there with abilities because I believe I've got it. So I don't know what you guys think on that being our future, but that doesn't include aliens. But I'm just saying.
Monkey experiment right there. That's what you're basically
explaining.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah, you're right.
I find it interesting too that, you know, when you start talking about, you brought up, Richie, why don't they say, well, God made the aliens? Well, isn't it interesting that Grush is saying that the Vatican worked with this UFO in the 30s, and then the Pope has already come out recently and said, well, hey, there are space brothers. So, and I think that Catholicism might be the only religion that's really had a forward statement like that. Are they making a statement like that because they might have known something for 70 or 80 years already and they're comfortable? I don't know, but it's a weird correlation, at least.
Oh, that's a good point.
Richie, can I tell you a small story, man?
Yeah, and then we'll get to sacred teachings after this. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. You ever did LSD, Richie?
LSD?
Yeah, for real. Did you ever did?
I've never done it. No.
Okay.
Somebody gave me one and didn't tell me until an hour later that they gave me something. So my experience wasn't that great. If it was it was like like on a piece of paper, you put it on your tongue.
All right.
I've tried that once and it didn't really work that well. So I know about it.
All right. Back then, that trip was like put on a cube of sugar. Anyway, that trip is a long trip, man. Okay, and it's about time. And when time kind of slow down, you can see stuff. Okay, and one time we did experience those trips. Me and my best friend back then a lot. Like two wood chair in front of each other and would look each other in the eyes.
I wish I could do that. God, I wish I did that. I do. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was like those kind of best years, and we would experience and talking and mixing hypnotism with that thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we reached one point we could create different kind of and I'm not going there, but people who would not take LSD with us, okay, knowing we're playing with kind of seeing things in time, would feel and sometimes see what we would see, and they would not be on LSD while we would be on LSD.
Oh wow,
it is pretty fucked up. It's like
wow,
what your mind can take control of another proof of that. Okay, I was in a party. I took LSD again. Anyway, and then there was this guy in front of me. He was a good friend. Okay, and he was not on LSD, but I just started looking at him. And when they say like aliens can read minds, I believe it's true because I got that experience. Okay, I was looking at him, and at that moment I could see like all those little expression and in a super fast moment that would it was in his soul, like thinking on different angle. And he felt, he turned at that moment and looked at me, and he got that communication. He saw what I saw.
Wow.
Yeah, he knew I was reading his mind.
Wow.
Fucked up, man. So anyway, I did that on LSD, and this is like another level of I would do it every now, because this is a very powerful drug. Actually, it's very fucked up. You don't want to have a bad trip on that, man. But anyway, those are a few things I would like to tell you. So I believe those things are real because I kind of experienced it.
That is.
He's talking about something that is. I had an experience too, not me personally, but I talk to shamans and stuff like that, and I grow sacred cactuses that are here in the southern United States area, where they're sacred to tribes and everything like that. The stories I got from the shamans and the tribal members is where when they go through these sacred ceremonies, they experience meetings with aliens and stuff like that. And that was something that I got in contact with them and said, hey, talk to me about this and stuff like that. They're like, well, you know what I mean? Like I grow certain peyote cactuses and certain cactuses from Peru and stuff like that. And when you do these experiences and stuff like that, you connect with some kind of spiritual thing called mescalito that's from Mexico and stuff like that. And he looks like a cactus being that kind of looks like an alien and stuff like that. And then I asked other tribal members like do you experience the sky people? And they're like, yes, we do when we do these ceremonies. They call them the Wichachu, but they're known as the Sky Family or just the Sky people and stuff like that.
Sky Brothers, yeah.
The Sky Brothers and stuff like that. And he's basically talking about the same experience right here with LSD and stuff like that, but in a different way. So
well, I spoke to a Hopi chief and his tribe about this was way back 14, 15 years ago because of the petroglyphs on the mountain. Somebody was studying them and making a correlation between the aliens and the writings on the rocks. And I was looking into it too. And the Hopi really talk. They really believe in the sky gods, the sky people, whatever you want to call them. They even have stories and stuff that on petroglyphs that nobody's ever seen or known about that they don't show anybody. And it's amazing.
I wasn't allowed to take the story about the Hopi though. Of how they came from underground from the ant people. The ant people were basically holding them in humongous dens, Edens.
Yes.
That's what it was called. And they were known as the ant people and stuff.
Yes.
Where I live close to Hemet, California. There's this petroglyph called the Hemet Maze Stone or petroglyph. It's very famous. It's been a part of UFOlogy. It's been on the History Channel recently. I literally live 10 minutes away from there. I walk right down the street. I look at this thing all the time. And I'm in amaze. I actually make videos about petroglyphs all the time and the ancient civilizations that were associated to these petroglyphs. And I'm amazed.
Imagine a movie like that, man. Imagine a movie like that, made by fucking Mel Gibson, the head people and the population.
That's it right there. I live right down the street from here.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I love the petroglyphs. Wow. Now, and sacred teachings, we'll get right to you. I'm sorry you're so patient, but this conversation took a strange turn. The Phoenix Lights, they went over, and I don't know if you heard me tell about this, but in Phoenix, Arizona, there's a freeway called the 51. It splits the city almost in half from the outskirts to downtown. And along the sides on the walls, there's artwork that they built. And it was from the tribes that are in the area who talked about the sky people. And there was a message all up and down the freeway that gave directions on where they should go. And the night of the Phoenix Lights, they flew directly over the 51 as if they were reading what was on the walls. Now get this, 8 years later, they removed all the artwork off the walls on the whole freeway. Everything's gone. Not even the sculptures of the flute guy, whatever he was. I don't know. It was a big thing. The one that it's a joker known as the trickster. Who is that? Well, anyway, that was all over the freeway. They removed all of those sculptures, and I don't know why. And I tried asking people, in government why they had those removed, and they said because it was taking too much money to keep them up. And I'm like, bullshit.
Was it Cocopellis, I think they were called?
Cocopelli, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sky guy,
no,
sky tricks.
What you're describing you're describing, there was a what do you call those people that will contact a being in their head and they'll start speaking through that being, through their body and stuff like that. There's this guy named Daryl Ankle Bashar. I was just about to describe him. Daryl Ankle Bashar, 10 years ago. This was 10 years ago. I followed this guy for a long time. He basically channeled the Essassani, which were the hybrid gray alien society, saying that they were going to come back to Phoenix and right there at that freeway. And they basically shared, you can look this up, they shared that information like 10 years ago. And sure enough, you're telling me the exact same story that confirmed what he was saying like years ago. Like, yeah, our people are going to come back and they're going to make contact again and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's saying that it was them that were a part of the Phoenix Lights and stuff like that. So if you want to know what society it was the Essassani hybrid gray aliens, I guess. I guess that their whole story is the Greys came in here during the hybrid program. They took species of certain people, which I believe were connected to the 12 tribes of Israel. If you want to go there, they abducted special people that were connected to the 12 tribes of Israel that were here in our planet and made hybrids of them. And that hybrid society is now visiting us and looking for old knowledge and history, basically.
Wow.
That's what I believe. Yeah. At least that's what I've gotten from what they shared to us. You know what I mean?
Sacred. Yeah, that is just so cool. I love all that stuff too. There's a lot of people don't know, but there's so much more to ufology than just UFOs and and sightings and things like
that whole channeling thing.
Right.
No. I'm skeptical. Unless I see a dead alien in front of me, I'm gonna just be like, well, this is what speculation. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say it's real unless I have proof. You know what I mean?
There's just so many holes. When I listen to Bashar, he goes out of character sometimes. He loses his focus and starts talking like a normal person. Yeah. So it's interesting. Because we really don't know who these special people are that have the ability to talk, if at all, to aliens. Sacred Teachings, thank you for waiting so long. What's on your mind?
What's going on, Rich?
Thank you for waiting. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just listening to you guys. I heard the hearing, I watched it, and I don't know, I was just a little disappointed.
What'd you expect?
Here we go.
Yeah, right. I was expectedly disappointed. So pretty much, what I've gotten out of it though, what I was interested in was Gates. I think his name's Mike Gates or something like that.
Matt Gates, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Gates. He said he was actually privy to some extra data, and he was able to check out the radar and clear pictures, and he seemed like he was impressed by what he saw, and I picked up on that.
That's right. He did say that.
Right. And
that he saw something that was amazing. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much bombshell to him.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. I read his whole his whole
dissertation.
Exactly. And it seemed like he was, he felt like he saw something bombshell and felt like he wanted to express that. And also picked up on Grush. Every time you would get asked a serious question, he would say you'd be able to clarify or either answer yes or no in a skiff, right?
Yes.
So essentially the skiffs are what needs to happen next. I don't want to hear anything else other than you guys got access to a skiff and now able to get these questions answered and now able to get to where we need to get next, whether it's a commander, a captain, someone who's higher above, so we could get some answers so they could get grilled, because obviously they need to be grilled to get anything out of them.
I couldn't agree more with you, dude. I could not agree more with you.
So talking about Matt, Mr. Getz, here is that portion of it.
That episode and brought with me Congressman Burchett and Congresswoman Luna. We asked to see any of the evidence that had been taken by flight crew in this endeavor and to observe any radar signature as well as to meet with the flight crew. We were not afforded access to all of the flight crew. And initially, we were not afforded access to images and
like
to
a
radar.
vampire.
Thereafter, we had
he is.
bit of a discussion about how authorities flow in the United States of America, and we did see the image. And we did meet with one member of the flight crew who took the image. The image was of something that I am not able to attach to any human capability, either from the United States or from any of our adversaries.
So it doesn't look like the image doesn't look like anything that we know of human that he thinks. That's what he's saying. Like
that is a really interesting point. Yeah, let me go back on that. I want to hear that again. Right, who is he to tell us we wouldn't understand it?
Radar signature, as well as to meet with the flight crew.
I went back too far.
Afforded access to all of the flight crew, and initially we were not afforded access to images and to radar. Thereafter, we had a bit of a discussion about how authorities flow in the United States of America, and we did see the image. And we did meet with one member of the flight crew who took the image. The image was of something that I am not able to attach to any human capability, either from the United States or from any of our adversaries. And I'm somewhat informed on the matter, having served on the Armed Services Committee for 7 years, having served on the committee that oversees DARPA and advanced technologies for several years. When we spoke with the flight crew, and when he showed us the photo that he'd taken, I asked why the video wasn't engaged, why
this is
a
bullshit
clear system that worked. Here's what he said. They were out on a test mission that day over the Gulf of Mexico. And when you're on a test mission, you're supposed to have clear airspace. Not supposed to be anything that shows up. And they saw a sequence of 4 craft in a clear diamond formation for which there is a radar sequence.
There's a whole fleet of them.
And I alone have observed in the United States Congress.
That's what he's talking about.
One of the pilots goes to check out that diamond formation and sees a large floating, what I can only describe as an orb. Again, like I said, not of any human capability that I'm aware of. And
this guy
when he approached,
have a watermark
he said that
over his face.
radar went down. He
There
said
is a
that
blur
his
over
FLIR
his
system
face.
malfunctioned.
No.
And that he had to manually
Maybe, you might be
take
right.
this
Yeah,
image from one of the
What are the
lenses
odds they were in
that
the
was not
test sequence
automatic
during this whole
audio,
event, though?
in collection, as
Right.
you would typically see.
There's like a watermark on this face.
Well, that is interesting. See, I think that the Tic Tacs that they said they supposedly saw were 2 things. Either it was China or it was us, one of our black budget programs that was working with the commanders of the ship and the Navy, everybody. Now, they knew it, but I don't think everybody else knew it, like Fravor, Graves, and those guys. So that's why they knew where the cap point was. That's why they knew a lot of things, where we were going to be and all that shit, because it's us. And testing the best pilots in the world against
private
UFO.
sector war. That's what it sounds like.
That's
You're
what
totally
I
right.
think.
Yeah, and it makes sense with the story. I mean, they said as soon as we got out of there, they came and grabbed the stuff and left. Well, they were there because they knew what was going on, dude. That's why
they were doing the test themselves.
They were there,
too,
ready to
during
go.
that time. Yeah.
So
I
they
agree.
secretly wanted to test their new technology on us and see what happens with our systems. It makes sense. We have the best systems in the world. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
Wicked World, how are you?
I'm good.
Nice to see you, and I'm glad you could pop in. So what's on your mind?
So, did you ever feel like today that Tim had them on trial? Like he was questioning them, like Tim knows something. And he's like questioning them because he knows that they're hiding something. Did you ever get that feeling?
No, I didn't.
Feel like they were putting them on trial?
They were putting those 3 people on trial?
Well, that's what it kind of felt like.
Well, this is what a subcommittee hearing is supposed to be, a question and answer and hearing their testimony and then drilling them. This is exactly what's supposed to happen. Yeah, it's not as bad as others I've seen. This was pretty mild, so it can get quite heated.
So, okay, a long time ago, I said, the jet pilots, how they all, like the private planes, they've all been acting weird. And,
Oh, they were. It seemed like they were acting weird today in the beginning, right?
Yeah, and and I've told you before about the Collie Rodney case that I followed a long time ago in Truckee, California. And back then they had personal jet pilots there flying around. They even had these fire cams where they could watch the fires in California. And when I was a part of that community, like we went and we found the fire cams to where we could like watch what was going on in the sky, because apparently this girl just drove down into Lake Tahoe up at Donner Lake. And then when you watch the video, you see all these strange orb like things flying around. And it just so happens that a lot of the FBI agents that were there are refugee Marines from Ukraine that's working here doing a lot of the FBI work.
Oh, wow. Really?
A lot of special divers that's like world divers like from like Ukraine and all that. They're like all coming here and they're with the refugee camps trying to fly their families and stuff here. Now, you've flown a drone before. A lot of us drone pilots know that as soon as we turn off our GPS, we are considered a UFO. So when a private plane, if a private plane is trying to land somewhere, like say that there's a burrow somewhere with a whole bunch of children hiding in it, they're going to turn off their GPS signal on their plane to go and pick up and go and drop off these trafficking things.
Hey, wait. Let's not talk about that on the show.
Well, I think that's they're using ufology.
Well, yeah, but let's just say it once and not say it again because I will get a strike for that. It's community guidelines. It is. Nobody can talk about that.
Well,
YouTube will shut me down.
If we to get to the point, where was the point?
I'm sorry, Wicked World. It's just the way it is on YouTube.
I got you.
But I hear you. Yeah. I think that was in the chat earlier today when we were watching this, that the UFOs are being used for that reason. Makes sense to me. That would be the best way to get them from A to B with nobody seeing them.
Yeah.
That's what they did when they shipped the drugs, all the poppy seeds and everything else Greer was talking about. That's why they used them. So why not?
Well, the whitewater, they were saying, remember Fravor was saying that the Tic Tac was floating above something under the water. To me, that sounded like, is it some kind of wireless charging kind of thing, futuristic? Is that something that it's coming into contact with to track? It sounds like something we would have. It sounds like if this was super advanced, not black project tech, they wouldn't need a platform to launch that thing off of. Man, it would just go. You
guys brought up something very, very important here. Greer was talking about during the discussions earlier that there was a disinfo hybrid alien beings that were made by the government that's been used for disinfo, basically. I want to know what that's about, dude. He was literally in detail saying, well, this fake invasion might be the aliens they built in a lab somewhere in the government. And I'm like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like he brought up a whole book of worms on.
Richie, where do you stand over Stephen Greer?
Well, hold on. What was that, Bob? I'm sorry.
Where do you stand over Stephen Greer? Because that was a good call from Sally Monson. Where do you stand over Stephen Greer, man?
Greer, he reminds me of Alex Jones. He says things that can't be proven, and then 10 years later, some of it comes true, some of it doesn't. So he's privy to stuff. He knows people. I know that for a fact. He's in it more than what people think. I mean, Greer is in it as much as anybody else can be as far as citizens go. But
you know what?
I think Greer's good for ufology in all different ways. Even if people think he's a grifter and here for the money, he's not. He just likes to be the guy. And so does Corbell. And so does Knapp. And so does Elizondo. They all want the spotlight. That's what I see. I see everybody wanting the spotlight, saying something a little bit different, a little crazy to get them the light to shine on them.
Well, that's exactly the thing, man. I see them as criminals.
Yeah. They're lying.
And soon people will see them as criminals because you're dealing with something that is over. Anyways, they're not there yet, but they're over your government, So they're like little actors playing with something like trying to profit of. But there is something watching them doing this, Of course there is. Jesus Christ.
Well, as long as these committees have power to look into stuff, we're going to learn a lot about what's real and what's not from who and who. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the big smile on my face at the end of the hearing was, wow, we're going to finally start to weed out the trash.
Man. I this is like the super highest, the first historic hearing. And then you have this super high class is like, yoo-hoo, I'm super dude from G.I. Joe. And who is behind him? Jeremy Corbell, to prove that he has a show and he's important.
And look, if what happens is Grush is proven right and this stuff comes out, hey, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong, man. I'll be the first one. That's fine with me. I'd like to have the tech personally.
But-
I want my
yeah.
spaceship. Come on.
See, I don't
think this
we
is
should-
private sector. Yeah.
On the other hand,
Yeah.
ice cream, I see, honestly, I see Jeremy Corbell, ice cream, as Jean de Baptiste from the Bible, like yelling on that mountain, it's coming, come. He's Jean, he fucking look like Jean de Baptiste.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is, Richie.
That's the Matrix.
Think about that about Jeremy Corbell. Now you will know how this feel is going.
Yeah.
He's the great link.
Yeah.
For all these people together.
Exactly.
He's chaining everyone together. Initially, I think Tom DeLonge was supposed to do that, but he just screwed it up too much. But Corbell's really come in as a public figure face. He's on all the media. He's the one that's talking even more than Knapp. So he's kind of even leapfrog Knapp a little bit when it comes to that. So you see him right in the front row there. I mean, you see Knapp or Corbell was right on camera. You seen he was directly in line. Yeah. Nobody's in front of him.
But then again,
so
we need the Jean de Baptiste. We need some kind of fucking.
It's crazy that we even need these people to go and speak for us, though, dude. Like none of us get spoken for. We need a Corbell or we need a guy from Blink-182 to speak for us.
But here's the thing, though. I'm with you on that, brother. But here's the problem with Corbell is when he's wrong, though, he's got to come out and say he's wrong.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
You can't put the wrong information out, get called on it, and then just ignore it. We're on to the next topic. Because then I go, oh, I see what you're doing. You're not really in it for the good of the field. You're in it for the good of you. And wherever it goes, you don't give a shit. That's the problem. If he would have came out and said,
you're right.
The triangle, if he just said, God, you know what, guys? I'm talking to these people, but I got it wrong. Sorry. I'm gonna do it different this next time. You'll see when we get to these hearings, we're gonna get. But that's what he's not doing, and it's not a surprise because he's not here for that.
Here they are. Poor George Knapp.
He looks like he's dying on Vegas time.
It looks like he's sitting in the business class of a commercial airline. Poor guy's in the middle seat.
Honestly, it's like this feel. It's like we're reliving this Jesus experience. Honestly, all those fucking war things, secrets, and then Lazar walking in the house, and you have to take the talking with people in private, and then there's people dancing in the water. Honestly, it's kind of a ultimate loop. It's the same.
Look behind Rich. It's the Last Supper. That image.
Wow.
Here, the Last Supper, man. Yeah. You nailed it. It's the Last Supper.
Look at Corbell, though. I love this.
Rich, you got to pull up the image of the hearing of it. You got to pull that one up.
What's the what?
Yeah, re-pull that image up of the hearing of all of them.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's the one. That's the new Last Supper. This is the update.
Hold on. Yeah, well, here it is.
There's the updated Last Supper, boys. There it is.
Right. Well, there is a better one. That's funny. Here it is. I think I got it right here. Yeah, it's same thing. That's funny. I should make a new one. Now, I stole this from somebody else. I found that on Twitter, and then I just copied it and used it for the background. I think it's the most brilliant thing I've seen made in a long time. It's got everybody in it.
Perfect picture. We are there, Richie. That's the
so funny, isn't it? This field is crazy. Sacred Teachings is back in here with us. Glad you can make it back. Wicked World, Greater Fun Spurge, Bob, Sally Monsal, and Ice Cream Shots. We're just talking about what happened today in the subcommittee UFO hearings and going over what we think the future may look like from here on out. Now, with that being said, you can still join the show. We're here for another 45 minutes or so. If you want to join, the link's pinned to the top in the chat. Now, we are going to have, I heard, another hearing in a few months, in October, November-ish. Some say September.
September, yeah.
Yeah, that seems a little soon. I think this was just something to fill in the void from the last one to now. They put this together last minute, it seemed like.
Just fast forward, man. Just fast forward to get there.
Well, we're going to keep hearing the same type of stories if they keep bringing whistleblowers out. So my thing is, let's move it forward past all the stories and just get to the evidence. Then, save us another year or two.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. I hear a lot of people say, well, why didn't Burchett subpoena all these other people and get them in? And Burchett goes, well, I don't have any time for that. I think people kind of read the context of that wrong. I think that these guys really do feel pressure, or they feel pressure. So I think he just wanted to get something going now, get on the books, and then we can continue. But just to establish that groundwork, I don't think it was really laziness, man. I think he's just feeling pressure.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, and this was put together very well. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was done very well.
We turned UFOlogy into a Congress. That's what it looks like, right? We got a bunch of officials and we got people who are speaking for us now and who are fighting for us. This is very political. I totally see it now.
Yeah, I actually got to go vote for Tim just because I felt like he would be able to get answers for us. Like he tries to get straight to the point.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are kind of starting to turn on him and say he's a part of this whole guy. I'm still not just there yet. I still think he's a little bit separated to it. He might be a little enamored with them and he's friends. He might be a little starstruck with Corbell and them, but I don't know if he's really deep on the scene yet for them. Kind of a puppet being held a little bit. I don't think so yet.
You got to keep your friends
not proved yet
close,
to me.
but your enemies closer. And a lot of us in Tennessee, we play both fields here in Tennessee. We get to know everything about you that we can find out before we give you any kind of answers.
I hear that. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are going in the right direction, but we need evidence. And I want to say also, those of you who did super chat or donate, I'll get to those at the end of the show and thank everybody. Jeanette, Truby, you, and others, Jan, and there's several I have to go over. We'll do that later. So I want to thank you for that. We're sitting here talking about today's subcommittee UFO hearing. I thought it was pretty darn good, even though it was a lot of the same stuff. For some reason, I think I needed the refresher course anyway on all three of these guys. It was interesting. Wicked World mentioned that they seemed a little off, like the three of these guys in the beginning. It reminded me of when they came back from Apollo 11 and were doing the interview in front of everybody. Remember the press conference and they all looked strange and acted weird? That's how this seemed in the beginning to me. Now, Graves and Fravor pretty much were just going through the routine. Grush really was trying to push for a lot of the stuff that we want. And what he was saying, you know, we need to push this further. We need to get more witnesses out. We need to . So is Fravor and Graves really part of the movement or just the story? Grush seems to be more part of the movement than them, even though they're part of it. But I don't know. Well, who's next? Who's next up on the hearings? Does anybody have any idea who's coming up? I don't.
I know there's supposed to be like 3 more witnesses or something like that, Richie.
3, yeah, 2 or 3. But who?
Hopefully,
I know that's
part of the loop.
There's a funny story about Bob Lazar who came out and said, "Why would I fucking get there when they ruined my life?"
Yeah,
I found that funny, but yeah. I don't know, man.
Oh, it doesn't
what
want
kind
to
of
lie
guest
to
would you like
Congress.
to get there? That's the question. Richie. Which guest would you like to get there, man? Dude, I would like to get Richard Doty. Fucking get naked and
No.
talking.
No. I want a guy. I want the guy with evidence.
I want the guy Grush who's Grush is
Backyard
pointing out behind the
alien
scenes
kid.
if he's doing that. That's the people I want.
The backyard alien kid. Yeah.
Did this guy have cancer?
He could be a surgeon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
A surgeon working in the government?
No, like he had surgery.
Isn't that what Greer is?
Oh, I don't know why. It's just weird. He doesn't look like he's sick.
He might be part of a bikers club. He just forgot he left his do-rag on.
Yeah, somebody should have told him. I just think it was strange, Mr. Raskin.
I could be hanging out on the Capitol steps, just drinking a 40.
You know who would be great to have up there? Of course, Bob Lazar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But see, they're not going to bring citizens in at all. This is all about government for a reason, because they have paper trails of everything and a lot of witnesses who will come forward or will testify down the road. So there's a lot of things leading up to a cover-up. See, to me, all this is just common knowledge for ufology. It's been for 70 plus years. I don't understand why we need to be convinced that there's a cover-up. Yeah, we know. Get to the evidence. Oh, it's so frustrating.
We need the bodies. I think it comes to that point. We need the alien bodies to just be like, here it is. What's the next fucking plan are we gonna do? All right, because we're all just sitting here questioning everything. That's what we do.
I mean, how many more things do they need to say are for the public, and the general public still doesn't care? How many more times? I
You're
mean,
right.
this is for the public. This is for the public. Cool. The public isn't listening, man. So why don't you put out a photo for the public? Why don't you put a video out for the public? Make people give a shit. The problem is the stigma's going away somewhat, but it doesn't change the fact of belief. The belief is still not there. The stigma might be deflating, but not the belief. And you can still talk to anybody you walk on the street. Tons more people than not will tell you, yeah, I mean, that sounds cool, but let me see a video, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's always what you're going to hear. That's what the public wants.
Jeez. What if Reagan was right? What if we all need something crazy for us to unite as one and stuff like that, for us to actually get the freaking picture? You know what I mean? That's scary.
That's what we said earlier. It takes evidence to get the public now.
If you take a cold mind over all of this, I really got out of that with the feeling of like watching a cold reality show. And this is a real deep, dark feeling that is growing over the past year. There is like a big narrative reality show growing up, Rich man. And even if I know it's Ryan Graves, David Grush, and whatever the other guy named, there is this. It looked like a reality show. I can't deny that in me. It's in me. It looked like a reality show.
It has to be that way. Yeah, it has to be that way for consciousness. You know how like we got the first pager and then we upgraded to a cell phone, and then every year we get the better and bigger, better cell phone. That's exactly what it is. We have to upgrade our consciousness little by little until we get it, I guess. You know.
I mean,
why should it be related with consciousness, man? Explain me that.
Some people don't get it. The lower conscious people will deny everything.
Right.
Well, if you put the words into existence, if you say it and put the subject into existence, then that subject will exist. Therefore, it'll be talked about all over because you worded it into existence.
Let's take 2 minutes and watch this port of the subcommittee hearing. Just take a look at Grush.
Green. After 4 minutes, it'll
turn the volume up. Sounds low.
Tells you your 5 minutes have expired. I'll
All
now
right.
recognize Mr. Graves
for
5 minutes for your opening statement.
Whoops.
Thank you. Chairman Grothman, Ranking Member Garcia, distinguished members of the House Oversight Subcommittee on National Security, Representatives Burchett and Luna. My name is Ryan Fobbs Graves, and I'm a former F-18 pilot with a...
I'm sorry. How did I get the wrong guy? I just saw their bald head. There he is. Look at that. I didn't know which head I was on. Look at this. Watch. There's Graves. There's Grush. You know, he had his head down. See? All right. Sorry, guys. Let me get to the second bald guy. Sorry if you're bald. I don't mean any disrespect.
I was an intelligence officer for 14 years.
Liar!
Both in the U.S. Air Force, both active duty, Air National Guard, and Reserve, at the rank of major, and most recently from 2021 to 2023, at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, at the GS-15 civilian level, which is the military equivalent of a full bird colonel. I was my agency's co-lead in unidentified anomalous phenomena and transmedium object analysis, as well as reporting to the UAP task force.
Transmedium? Come on.
UAPTF, and eventually, once it was established, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO.
Bullshit.
I became a whistleblower through a PPD-19 urgent concern filing in May 2022 with the Intelligence Community Inspector General. Following concerning reports from multiple esteemed and credentialed current and former military and intelligence community individuals that the U.S. government is operating with secrecy above congressional oversight with regards to UAPs. My testimony is based on information I've been given by individuals with a long-standing track record of legitimacy and service to this country, many of whom also have shared compelling evidence in the form of photography, official documentation, and classified oral testimony to myself.
So he's talking about, you know, the people that he's talked to in the past that showed him stuff. That's what we need to see. Do you guys think the public would really freak out if we showed them a disc-shaped craft?
No.
Close up to an F?
No. There'll be a few percentage of people that will because of their personal beliefs that'll go against everything. But yeah, other than that, I think everyone will be pretty accepting. There'll be debates. Trust me. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you listen to the details of what he says, it's like he really did hear and see stuff, but not firsthand, just pictures. And that, I mean, that's kind of interesting in a way. But here we go. One more minute.
And my various colleagues. I have taken every step I can to corroborate this evidence over a period of 4 years while I was with the UAP task force and do my due diligence on the individual sharing it. This is because of these steps, I believe strongly in the importance of bringing this information before you. I am driven by a commitment of both to truth and transparency, rooted in our inherent duty to uphold the United States Constitution and protect the American people. I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims. But as I stand here under oath now, I am speaking to the facts as I've been told them. In the U.S. Air Force, in my National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, reservist capacity, I was a member of the UAP Task Force from 2019 to 2021. I served at the NRO.
All right, I have a question for you guys. Don't you think it would have served us, the community and ufology, better if he didn't do the interview at News Nation and just did this instead? Because I see it as a way of promoting yourself and promoting for News Nation. Huh?
I think he was promoting the hearing, though, too, Rich, you know?
Not back then. Not in the interview.
Well, no, but I mean, they can go back and when they announce the hearing, they could say, hey, here's this part of it. It kind of uses promotional material a little bit to get more people to watch, don't you think? Or no? You think not?
If they would have announced, let's say, 3 weeks ago for the first time hearing about Grush, there's this guy who's going to be in a hearing with Fravor and Graves, and his name is David Grush. He is going to tell us some stuff that we never heard for the first time. Don't you think that would have brought more eyes to the table instead of us hearing the same stories over and over? They should have given us somebody new, or let us hear Grush for the first time today. But that's the thing. I don't think they knew about this meeting until 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of like maybe I'm wrong about that, but I would have liked to have seen him for the first time. It would have given him more credibility in my eyes to go and do this way instead of trying to gauge what the public thinks.
Oh, I agree with you on this. That it definitely doesn't help the image, going in with cold heart and stuff and kind of running him through the mud, kind of the machine of that. Yeah, I agree with you. He could have came in a lot cleaner when I think about it. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
But you know what? I guess they're learning too on what works best, and I hope they listen.
They're still in the beginner stages and stuff like that, remember? So eventually after the third or fourth or fifth meeting, we're already going to go through the bugs of everything and be like, it is how it is, bam, and then just give it to us.
And it's gotten better. We can see with this hearing how much better it was run. Perfect today. I thought it was perfect. I don't see there was no downtime. There was no looking for information. There was no, I can't get the video to work. You remember that? They will never have that problem. I can't say never, but they should never have these problems again in the future. Everything should be smooth like today. Whoever ran this needs to keep running the future ones because it was really good. You
see how they fix the problem, right? When you have a problem with you can't stop the video, you just don't bring any video anymore. Problem solved.
Yeah. No evidence at all. We'll just not show anybody anything. Yeah. Hey, why can't we get any evidence? Remember when we tried? Oh, yeah, that's right. That 0.8 seconds of a video, and it took him 5 minutes to find it. So what else can we talk about that happened today? We pretty much touched on everything, I think, right?
Well, how about the new rap beef between what's his name, Grush and oh god, now I'm blanking on the name. The guy from the DoD, Kirkpatrick. They kind of set up a little beef between them. Are they going to write diss tracks now because they disagree?
Oh, I didn't know.
That's a good point. Where is Kirkpatrick in all of this?
Well, they said that because the lady asked. I think it was Fox. I think that was the woman who asked. She goes, this is kind of contradictory to what Sean Kirkpatrick is saying, and he goes, yeah, I don't agree with him. So they've kind of already caused this clash between them already right now.
I want to go to a part of the video now where Ms. Mace, she asked some really good questions to Grush. This is pretty good, actually.
You just want to look at her, Rich. Tell the truth, okay?
She's okay. She's all right. Yeah, I'd throw her one.
Honestly,
sorry.
I listen at Kirkpatrick like a ASMR
It's a Miz.
video.
It's a Miz.
It's like super
Yeah.
quiet and it
She's a
makes you
divorce. She's a divorcee.
Since the Roswell incident in 1947,
She's attractive.
many Americans have
Yeah.
wondered about the dangers of unknown objects
10 years ago.
crisscrossing our skies. Whether these are UAPs
That's
or
not
weather
nice. How misogynistic.
phenomena, advanced
I kinda
technology
have
from
this
American
list of
allied or enemy forces, or something more out of this world.
I'd
So
throw
my
a one.
first question, I have several questions, and if we could just be quick on these first two. I'm
Move
gonna
that
ask
hair behind
each
the
of you
ear
same
again.
Question, and then I'll get to each of you individually.
Can you stand
the
up a
first
little?
one, when you reported your experiences with a UAP, did any of you face any repercussions with your superiors? Yes or no?
No.
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 Look at
I've actually never
Corbell.
seen anything personally, believe it or not. So.
All right, and then
Yeah.
do you believe there's an act of disinformation?
Oh, I can believe you haven't.
campaign
That's
within
not
our
a
government
problem.
To deny existence of UAPs? Yes or no?
I don't have an
Corbell.
answer to that.
The Corbell.
As previously stated publicly, yes.
He looks wired.
He looks like he's watching a tennis
match. Yes, but currently I don't speak for the United States government.
Okay, thank you. I have a few questions for Mr. Graves. What percentage of UAP sightings, in your belief, go unreported by our pilots?
95%.
This is an approximation based off of my personal experience speaking with a number of pilots, but I would estimate we're somewhere near 5% reporting, perhaps.
So like 95% basically
I believe it was on
report.
purpose.
Where do you think he's
Seeing
getting
that
that number
is my
from, Rich?
personal estimate.
Honestly,
He's just guessing. I
It
think.
has to be. Has to be.
Well,
I agree. That's a guess.
yeah.
95?
Well,
95?
when he said that, I was thinking 95 to 98% aren't reported. I believe he's right. I don't think that's a bad thing. Think about it. His guy saw stuff for 2 years, didn't report it.
This is so alien. Like tree.
Well, no, you're kind of right about that. If you report it, you become like the guy, and then you can get you can get removed, all sorts of bad things. You get blacklisted, and
Yeah,
so
they
many
send you to
things.
go fly
I
a
can see that.
desk. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. That's what they call it. Go fly your desk now. You're not flying in an airplane.
I'm sure it's a lot, but the 95 number was just interesting how he came to 95.
Well,
You know?
I think
I
that
don't know.
is, yeah, it's like, how did he come up with the number? I like she should have said, where'd you get that number? And he went, well, I know people. It would have been interesting if she followed that up. You're right.
Maybe
It's an
I'm
odd number too, yeah.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
nitpicking, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm being petty. I don't know. I just think it was a weird number he kind of just threw out there. Anyway. Yeah.
Honestly, Richie,
You know?
it's like a dynasty. You ever watch a dynasty, Richie? Like a whole series on TV, you know, like super bad with all those actors coming from different rich beach place with stories. This is just like that. This is like dynasty, man. This is all those people mixing together in this world with stories that make no sense. That's exactly what is happening now.
Yeah,
Like
but
a
then,
telenovela.
but then there are stories that make sense. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Listen.
Yes.
In the incident off Virginia Beach, do you believe the Navy took the danger to your aircraft seriously after it was reported?
Absolutely.
A few questions for Mr. Favor. As an expert naval aviator, have you ever seen an object that looked and moved like the Tic Tac UAP?
No.
Did the Tic Tac UAP move in such a way that defied the laws of physics?
The way we understand them, yes.
Just say yes.
Many dismiss UAP reports as classified weapons testing by our own government.
That-
But in your experience as a pilot, does our government typically test advanced weapon systems right next to multi-million-dollar jets
Fravor
without
has so
informing
much
our
charisma.
pilots?
No, we have test ranges for that.
You wouldn't know that, Fravor.
He, how would he know?
He spilled the
right?
beans on that, though. Did you hear him? We have
When?
test ranges for that one.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
He said it.
Which
Yeah,
is true.
They're test
This
range,
guy could be an actor in a movie.
But that's my problem, though, with the pilot Graves and Fravor is that they're claiming that they, with their statements, pretty much claiming that they understand and have knowledge of every single craft that the military has, and obviously that's not the case. If you can't even get access to certain programs, you're blocked off. How do you know what crafts we have in our bunkers? That's
Right.
that
Most
to me
crafts
is
are like a
crazy
need
how
to
they
know,
say that.
each of them.
Right.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really tough answer for him. When I heard that, I kind of cringed a little bit. I'm like, dude, they're not going to tell you. Come on. I mean, I get you're a great pilot and everything, but if there's any black tech that's out there like that, they're not gonna tell you if they're testing it against us, man. That's the point.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean, that defeats the purpose.
And then the physics thing where he said it defines physics. I don't know. Is he a physicist? That's also kind of something else that's. And I like Fravor, dude. I do. I think his story's great. I think he's telling the truth of what he's seen. But like, it's also to ask him a physics question that really wouldn't hold up anywhere if he's not a physicist. So who kind of cares? That doesn't really prove anything to me. But
does anybody believe that he forgot to turn on the helmet cam, or did he really record it and just not telling us about it because it's so clear?
I think it's possible. People don't pull their phones out all the time when they see stuff, man. I think everyone just is so interested. It's possible.
But I recall something about Fravor. He told someone, he told something in a show that he faked to be a UFO one time. I remember that because he was like having this big jet and things, and he would feeling super but he said that.
I know the story. He said sometimes we would see campers out in the middle of the woods.
Exactly, man.
And what we would do is we'd turn off the engines when we'd get close. And then when we get right above them, we'd turn on the afterburners and scare the shit out of them.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
That's unbelievable.
I remember
that guy's a real, I don't know. That sounds like fun to me. That'd be great to.
He's like Ethan Hawke from fucking Mission Impossible, dude.
Yes. That's it. That's exactly true. Well, I think in the movie
for Ethan Hunt, wasn't he?
In what was that movie?
We nailed it. Mission Impossible.
No, the other movie, Top Gun. I was thinking of.
Exactly.
When he buzzed the tower in the original one, remember? That was taken from a real story. Yeah, that was taken from a real story from a guy who actually did that, and he got in a lot of trouble for it, but he did it again anyway. That's amazing. It's from that guy. Fravor?
I grew up on Miramar, Fightertown, USA, there in San Diego. My dad's been in the military since before I was
wow.
born. I'm a Master Chief, and so I've gotten to see a lot of stuff like behind the scenes and stuff like that as a military.
Oh wow! God, I loved.
I remember jumping and playing on FR-71 Blackbirds, stealth bombers, and stuff like that. Now that I tell those stories, now I think about it like, damn, dude, like I've done stuff that most people have never had access to, even get near and stuff like that. Like I never knew though. I grew up that way though. That's why. So I was a military brat growing up in all these bases my whole life. So I got a lot of odd stories to tell eventually if we ever go to those topics to tell those stories and stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we should have you on just to talk about that.
I told you guys an alien experience. I think the last time I popped up here, where these orbs were on top of my house, and they looked like those what do you call it? Those Chinese lanterns, but they weren't. They multiplied against the wind. They had some sonic pulse. They were in a formation above my house. One of them came down. Everyone in my whole neighborhood tried to record these things. Nobody can record them. They were blocking our cameras and our cell phones. But someone like 2 blocks down the street recorded the whole thing, and I was able to get that footage. And I saved it. And all these years later, because this happened maybe like 2013 or 14, I think, or something like that. I saved the footage and I shared it on my YouTube. So just look up Temecula UFO, because this happened in Temecula, California at the time, where these group of orbs that were orange, yellow, multicolored, they would pulsate these like green, yellow, purple. They came out of the ocean. I could tell you exactly where they came out of. They came out of between Oceanside and Catalina Island. They're like in between there. These orbs, hundreds of them, popped out of the ocean, basically lined up towards my house, and then went to LA somewhere. But there were like hundreds of them. I don't know how anyone else didn't see this. You know?
Right. It is. No, a lot of people see it, but they don't make the connection. They just dismiss it as balloons immediately, or something that, is terrestrial. But that's amazing, and that's where all this action is happening off the Catalinas and then
I looked into this, and I guess there's like an alleged secret alien base underneath that exact location, in between Oceanside, California, and Catalina. Right in between that location in the ocean, you go straight down. There's supposed to be this alleged alien shelf or something like that, where there's a base and stuff. That's the exact location where these orbs came out of. It was weird.
You're not talking about the Malibu underground base, are you?
It said something about the Mariana Trench, where there was these pillars of an underground alien base underneath the water. They said the exact location. It was in between Oceanside, California, and Catalina. And I was like, that's the place. I saw those orbs pop out of the. I haven't seen them since. You know, it's been a while, but I think these orange orbs popped up in UFOlogy like a couple weeks ago, but I haven't seen them since. Those were the same kind of weird. I can't explain them. They were like balls of energy, basically, the size of a beach ball, basically. But they would pulsate and they would go against the wind and they would multiply. It was very weird. Couldn't explain it.
Well, here it is. I'll show you what you're talking about. And you know what's real interesting about those orbs? I've recorded a UFO fleet a month after they saw them on the Nimitz in Arizona. I recorded that. It's one of my famous videos. And here is the base that you were talking about right there.
I got to tell you later about that because my dad was on the Nimitz as a Master Chief. So I got some stories about that.
But apparently, well, that would be amazing to talk about. Here it is, Catalina Islands right there. Santa Barbara's, there's the base. Supposedly, this is supposedly a natural formation. You know what? To me, it doesn't look
natural at all.
It doesn't look natural to me.
Underneath that is pillars and stuff that goes into
right there.
something. Yeah.
But there's pillars over here on the side. I mean, if they can show me another one of these sandbars that look like this, then maybe I'll believe it's not a base. But they can't show me another one in the world. So how's that possible? Right? That's what makes this, I think, could be why and where they're coming from. It's amazing. Anyway, Jimmy Church broke that a few years ago, I think in 2012.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was amazing when everybody thought that was the biggest news that we were getting back then. We didn't have any of this stuff going on with whistleblowers and, right? I mean, if you guys remember ufology, it was kind of humdrum. Not much. We had to create like you wouldn't believe. And it was...
I
had a few videos I shared.
Of Guru's interviews, a lot of Guru's old interviews from the Disclosure Project over and over again, you know?
Yep. I remember this video I shared. I think it went viral. I deleted it from my channel and stuff, but a bunch of UFO channels took the video and asked me if they could share it on their channels. You saw it, I think, Rich. I think the first time I went on your channel and stuff like that and I showed it to you, you were like, oh, yes, because I told you there was some crazy force field on this UFO and it flew past me. I think I was living in El Paso, Texas at the time. You saw the video and went, oh, you know what, Sal? That is not a UFO. That is actually an unfocused plane that you recorded, and it kind of looked like a fucking force field above it, dude. I hate the burster bubble. I agreed with you because I saw other videos of the same thing, and you know, this little force field, because that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like a UFO with a force field over it going past the downtown El Paso area where I lived at the time, and it wasn't the case though. I agree with you.
Unfortunately, it's the pixelation of an object far away, reflecting the sun, or it's got, and you know how that started, the force field effect? That started with Jaime Maussan in 1992 during the eclipse when he captured the spinning.
Fuck this guy, dude.
But it was actually a balloon. It was a balloon that they were selling. And everybody thought it was UFOs coming out during the eclipse. But it wasn't. Anyway, I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, so he was talking about the force field and all this. I'm like, that's not a force field. So it starts way back then, 30 years ago. What's that, Bob?
How do you say that in English? Jaime Maussan?
What about him?
In French, it's Jaime Maussan.
Oh, yeah.
This guy is the male version of Linda Moulton Howe. It's everything they say you have to run because it's going to be bullshit in the end. Honestly. It's like,
yeah. Kinda
bullshit. Everything they're gonna be saying,
the
story is gonna be bullshit, and people keep fucking buying it.
Jaime's the king of false.
Jaime Maussan, Linda Moulton Howe, secret sources. Nobody care.
What did it start with? The fairies that he interviewed that were fake or something like that? I think it was like, that everyone, they thought it was real, but they ended up being fake, or it was the alien. I remember now. The fake
something
alien.
About, I think the alien mannequins that were placed in
the white ones from Peru, I believe, that were plastered together with different bones. They said, I'm not sure.
Are you talking about the 6-inch alien, the small one?
Yeah, those little ones that were plastered in that white plaster stuff, but then when they X-rayed them, they said that there were different bones of animals and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember now.
There was another one too with the
fairy.
The elf. It was a fairy. Yeah, the fairy ended up not being true. Yeah, it was like an elfish fairy or something like that. Yeah.
So Also, Jaime Maussan said that it was so expensive to make these mannequins, nobody could do it. That is the dumbest thing I've ever, maybe not in Mexico, okay? But here, anybody can make a mannequin to look like an alien, you dunce cap. Also, Jaime Maussan takes, not him personally, it's his family. And I've worked with Jaime before. His nephews do everything for him and his family, and they gather all the evidence and hand it to him at the end of the day, and he just reads what's in front of him. They go back 5 to 10 years, take old videos from wherever, and repurpose them as brand new over a different country. That's what Jaime Maussan people do. That's such
Exactly, man.
And Third Phase of Moon called Jaime one day and called him out on it. And Jaime's like, oh, I did not know, I don't do it, this. He assumed responsibility, but not really.
He was probably right about it, though, because of what you said. His team was basically doing it, and then he had to go and take responsibility, being the face image of his team and stuff like that. So, yeah, he probably had to need to talk to his team about that.
And the reason Third Phase had to call Jaime, because they took one of their exclusive videos, and they made it a new one from another country. So they had to call him out on it. And Jaime says, you're right, I'll look into it. And it cleaned up for a while. And there wasn't, then all of a sudden, just recently, man, they started just doing whatever it takes to get a story. But Jaime's terrible, but he's needed as well because he gives people hope.
No, he's not needed. He's not needed. That's
No?
the thing, Richie, man.
Until someone takes his place in his area, he's
there.
kind of needed. I can kind of see that. He's an image, like you guys said. He's an image. They turned him into an image where his team puts together everything so the people that follow him can know what's going on. But like you said, the consciousness level is really low because he's recycling old information to new information, which is very bad.
Very bad.
He's not this guy. He's not even recycling. He's creating garbage stuff. That's the worst. He's not recycling. He's creating stuff from his people. That is Jaime Maussan.
Well, that's what I kind of hope is
business, man.
That's what I kind of hope is changing about this topic with hearings like this, is that a lot of those channels and things from way back in the day, that used to really interest people and get them into the field, which now we know aren't always so true. You know what I mean? You almost needed that to get people to care. But it's like now if it's possible, we can dig to some facts. We can get people to care starting from the right spot. I mean, when you guys brought up Linda Moulton Howe, am I the only one that when I first started getting into this stuff, like I listened to her a little bit when I was a little bit more naive. I used to like some of that.
Yeah.
And then you go through that process of, the alien picture is not real. And then okay, this is crap. And you move on.
It was needed.
It was
just like the cell phone, like I was talking earlier. It was a conscious thing where, I learned this, so now I can learn about this topic even better, and then even learn more knowledge until I can upgrade myself. I can see that.
Yeah, it's like the obstacle course you have to get over to be able to understand really where we're at, the foundation. That's why everybody says, we're 5, 10, 15 years ahead of the public. It's because we've went through all that. We've heard the stories, then been let down, and then moved on and kind of moved through that process where hopefully now we can skip some of that, because Linda Moulton Howe's not going to the hearing. And if we get the people to say, hey, let's at least look at the people that they're talking to that may have some validity, may have some clearances, we can maybe start grounded more,
They've been using her so long for like an image of credibility, This is special.
I hope the best for those people, man. I do. I'm not here to like down her or anything like that. That's not the point of it. I hope the best for everybody. But at the end of the day, what's true is true, what's provable is provable, and what's not is not, man. And we just don't have anything that you can really go with from a lot of those people at that point. So
said it all.
It's just Linda Moulton Howe talks so well, speaks well, and makes things sound so legit when she talks too.
I don't agree with that, Richie, man. It's so fake. It's a show. She got that wine with those people dressed in like fucking.
She reminds me of a landlocked mermaid for some reason.
That's super.
I don't know where that came from, but
year of the UFO something. It's like you feel that it's all fake. I'm standing like naked and all this. You know me, Richie. Everything that is fake, I'm gonna spot it and name it. So when Linda Moulton Howe is there, everything is fake. Everything is fake.
It's like a good example.
Let's be real, okay? she got like that super motion presentation with that book about cattle mutilation and those cows and kill. Did she ever mention bird?
Oh.
Never.
What was that?
Because they're hiding the simple fact that bird can feed, and they get in every orifice and taking the fresh meat, and she won't talk about that. She wants to be special. She wants to be supernatural. That's the thing, they will never talk about those birds.
There's good evidence.
I've always noticed the spokespeople that they use for Ancient Aliens. It takes a while for the people that they put on that show to evolve to us to make so we can kind of believe their bullshit in many ways, because we've already evolved past what they're trying to explain to everyone else.
Well, that's another good example of it is I don't know if you guys play video games at all, but a video game development idea concept is people always say, well, why do they put bad items or bad weapons that aren't any good in the game? It's because they put them there so that you know what the good ones are.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like you kind of need some of these people who aren't legit, so we know what isn't and what's not. You can really start to kind of path that out. So I don't know.
And you know what? You see the
Scarface.
result. The big story, Skinwalker Ranch. That story was great. Started by George Knapp and mixed with this guy, the super billionaire things. Anyway, this guy. And you see now they try to.
I know a lot about that place.
Yeah, they try to work that story, and then you see that it's failing. It's not working. You see, that's the result. Brendan Frugal tried to cash on that, and it's not working. That's the thing with the ufology. If you lie, you're gonna fail in the end.
I mean, where's the evidence for Skinwalker? I mean, where's the evidence at?
Exactly.
Skinwalker Ranch is supposed to be used as a what do you call it? At least with all my native friends that tell me, they're like, don't believe anything that has to do with Skinwalker Ranch. I'm like, why? And I'm like, that place is known as the fake location of the actual Skinwalker Ranch. I'm like, what do you mean by that? That's just a place that we tell the public that it's spooky and this and that, but there's another location that no one knows about. That's the actual Skinwalker Ranch that they keep hidden and stuff like that. So that's like a false Skinwalker Ranch.
Exactly. You remember what George Knapp before said? Because he set up that whole thing. He said, this is like the Disney World of paranormal. Yeah, exactly. This is the Disney World of this. And then people went in. And then it went in for years. Just like before with Lazar. It's the same pattern and over. They start this scenario. And then you start following it slowly. And then it's gonna... It's a slowly it's a really weird pattern.
What's up with Lazar? Do you guys believe in Lazar? I kind of do. I mean, he talked about that element. He had hydrogen Corvettes back in the 80s. I mean, if you guys get into his story, I'm just like, he knew something. He did, but what? How much did he know? And is it true? I don't know. You know,
where's the 115? Where's the 115?
Yeah, right. What's he doing with it? He's just gonna hold it forever.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, what's he doing with it?
Helen says Stardust, and not Stardust Ranch. That's in Arizona. That place is bullshit too. I went there. It's right up alongside a freeway. It's so stupid.
And this is for is it the guy? Ice cream. And still, man, ice cream. I've been watching those whole video of Lazar, man. Like, he's in front of the people taking questions. Everybody, like, you have all those kind of different scientists, I don't know, asking him a question, and he's answering them. What do you feel about that? He looked like fucking legit and confident.
You mean when they were asking?
That's the thing about Bob Lazar. He looks so confident. What do you say?
I think when you're in a position telling a story like that no one can ever check up on, and it kind of doesn't really matter what you say because you can't really be called on much of it, you're probably going to be pretty comfortable just lying. You know, I think for the most part, but I think what really is interesting with Lazar too is when you look back on his older interviews where people ask him about his teachers and where he was at, he was wrong in all of that. You know, I could name teachers that I've had in college. I mean, that's not an issue for me at all.
Right.
The yearbooks out and about. I could tell you friends. I've took pictures. I mean, come on, these are all things that you do as you go through school, and you would have people that would be your friends to come out, more than one guy or even just John Lear to talk about that stuff. There would be way more of a paper trail than what he's letting on. And
Should be.
that's my biggest thing for him. And
It
then,
should be.
and then, well, yeah, of course,
It was
there
all
should be.
paper trail back then.
Yeah.
There was nothing
Oh.
digital.
Yeah.
Also,
it was a phone book. That was it, though. That connected him to the Area 51, I believe.
But we don't know if it was really him.
That was it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It said Robert Lazar, but that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It probably was, but that's not proof to me.
But the great thing that point of where we're at right now is we don't even have to have this all of this discussion and dredge up all of the old stuff from Lazar, because if he were just to show up and go, yeah, here's the 115, it would be over. We'd know.
Oh my God!
It really would.
Yeah,
it really
would
would.
be over. But see, when you look at even his biggest cheerleaders, Corbell and Knapp, they're doing is making excuses for why he can't show, and he's supposed to be the star pony.
So fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's so.
That's true.
Set it apart there.
I mean, you heard Corbell, guys. He goes, well, the stigma. It's not really time for Lazar. What do you mean, dude? Blow the whole thing out if it's real.
Right.
What do you mean it's not time? You're gonna tell us when disclosure? It's time for that? I'm supposed
Yeah.
to wait for
I'm
you,
with you on
Corbell? Tell me that? Like, that's ridiculous, man. He's either real or he's not. And they needed to get his ass down there and either bring out the 115, or else we need to just go ahead and end the Lazar chapter for good. In my opinion, for him not to show up, it's not even an argument anymore whether or not the guy's real. It's not real. You would go and get your life back. You would.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, this is crazy. If I was Lazar, dude, and that was it's like he can go on Rogan for 2 hours, but he can't spend 15 minutes for us in Congress. Where, I mean, it's like, I said this last week. The biggest issue that I have with him is his excuses. His excuses are horrible. The guy says he doesn't owe ufology anything. Okay, that's really interesting, because why did you come out and even start this entire story, Bob? Well, you did because you said that you were feared for your life. So you came to who? The public, to save your ass.
That's right.
You said, I need you to keep me alive. I'm going to tell you my story. So guess what? You don't owe ufology. You owe the public, because we saved your ass, and now go prove your shit's right, and then we can move on. Otherwise, Lazar's done. It's a dead conversation at this point with him.
They should be pushing Bob in. Dude, go. It's true. You need to tell the world now. Do it officially.
Yeah.
They don't believe it, though, Rich. Corbell and Knapp don't believe the story anymore. I think Knapp years ago stopped believing in the story.
He did. You're right.
He's out of there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great freaking point on that Bob Lazar shit. That's right.
We're glad we brought him up.
Bob irritates me. Yeah, listen, Sally, man, Bob irritates me, man, because I really liked that story. Everybody does, man. That's the big story through all this for all these years. And he's a big part of why I think a lot of us are even into this topic at this point. And for him to turn around and say, I don't know you guys shit, man, I tell you, I got to at least give Lou Reviews the credit where he goes, fuck you, Bob, because that's the truth, man.
Yeah, man.
I like how he said that, because at the end of the day, that's how all of us are feeling at that point. If you want to say, well, there's all these other reasons that I can't help you, man. You can't see what's in front of you then at that point. There's nothing any of us can do for you. But at the end of the day, he owes. He does. Knapp
he
owes
does.
too.
He does. The way you explained that perfectly too. He does.
But here's the thing, guys. Bob doesn't have any out. There is no out that's true. It can't be that it's not time. It can't be that he doesn't owe us. It can't be. It can't be that they're holding off. There is no excuse. And it can't be. Well, I don't want to be involved in the topic anymore, bro. You just went on the biggest podcast in the fucking world 2 years ago for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you don't want to be in the topic anymore. This is total garbage from him, and we got to rule him out if he doesn't want to show up.
Ice cream. You need to understand the concept of the molded chair. They're molded.
What's that?
chair,
Explain
man. It's a place where you go and everything is molded in one. You don't know that space, that level of space that Bob created for you. It's a place where everything is molded in one. And you have that chair and this panel. I mean, how great is that story? Honestly, you see a craft like that, everything is molded in one place.
Yeah, it's a wonderful story, man.
You know what, Ice Cream? I told Richie, I think a few days ago, when I heard from a special source, I won't tell, but he stole that story from 2 Russians and he changed the narratives. I really heard that story, that Bob Lazar stole that story from two Russians.
Yeah, from those two Russians that it just happened maybe 5 years
They
before.
wrote a book about it's almost the same thing.
Right, I know exactly. That's true.
I've heard about that. I've heard
Yeah, me
about
too.
that. I heard the story was in the Russian book that's been passed around. It was that same book that they made video games and everything out of. If you guys forgot, it's a Russian book. It's a secret Russian book. I don't know. I don't know if you guys heard about this book.
I've never heard
yeah.
of it. I've only heard this.
It's an official Russian book that they have that they write down all their alien knowledge and stuff like that. That's been passed around. It's still being updated till I hear this day. I don't know. This is all allegedly stuff, so don't quote me.
Well, we have run up out of time, so I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, man. There was some good stuff going on here tonight. 30 minutes ago, the conversations slowed a little bit, but man, the last half hour was freaking awesome. Can't thank you guys. Sally Monsal, Greater Fun Spurge, I guess I'm saying that right. Bob and Ice Cream Shots. Anybody? Hey, Sally Monsal, I know you, but do you have any place people can find you on the internet or talk to you if they want?
Instagram, YouTube, same name, Sally Monsal.
Insta? All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Greater Fun Spurge, how about you?
No, I don't. I'm a fan of the show. That's it.
Okay. No, and hey, thank you for hanging out too. That was awesome.
Right, thank
Bob
you.
Birkins. What was that?
It was great. Fun, thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. Where are you from, by the way?
I was educated in London, but I'm from the Middle East.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I noticed the accent. I saw people in the chat room trying to figure it out. I just thought I'd ask. But awesome.
Well. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you for hanging out. And Ice Cream Shots, of course. Where can anybody find you?
You can follow my Twitter if you want. I don't tweet a whole lot, though. I'll like and retweet some stuff. But yeah, you know what I mean. The great procrastinator I am, Rich. Maybe soon. Maybe soon we'll have a show. Who knows?
Sound like I'm a great procrastinator as well. But if I just put a little effort into my life, forget about it. But thank you very much, everybody. I mean, really, thank you for hanging out.
Yeah,
Sally Monsal. Yeah, it was awesome. Great content today. Just really good conversation. I can't thank you enough, everybody.
Yes,
and
good vibes.
It really was. I'll let you guys go. Thanks, and I'll say goodbye to everybody here. Hey, another freaking awesome show. And don't forget, Friday, we're still coming back with a discussion panel because that's what we do now on Fridays. We bring you guys in if you want to come back and talk or anybody new Friday. But tomorrow we got another show, 7 p.m., just one. I tell you, I didn't want to come back tonight. I was just exhausted for some reason. It was a stressful day. But it was a lot of fun. I appreciate the 5 hours we spent today. And there was a lot of information being tossed around. So rewatch some of that subcommittee hearing. I think you'll be happy with it. Look, there was something I saw. I want to play this because I just saw an article about Yellowstone National Park. And they think that sucker is getting ready to blow. Like there's a lot of activity happening. There was an update that was just done. Something's going on. And then this happens in the ocean, which could be a very big warning to the next, world-changing event. Let's see this.
This is a rare sighting of the deep-sea oarfish, which, according to Japanese legend, means something ominous is about to happen. Divers spotted the giant creature in shallow waters off the coast of Taiwan. In Japan,
look at that thing.
The fish is known as a messenger from the sea god's palace, and according to legend, its appearance can signal an imminent earthquake or tsunami.
When those fish start coming to the surface or coming up to our level of life, something down below is about to rumble or is rumbling. You would think that the NOAA, is it? National Oceanic, you think they would know? All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, moderators, super chatters. I have some here I wanted to read. I got from True BU Beauty, sent $10 on PayPal and says, thanks for keeping it real. Appreciate you and your show so much. That, thank you for that. Truby, you beauty. Beautiful and very generous of you. PayPal from Jeanette. $12.36. Thank you so much for a great show earlier today. The hearing wasn't as bad as I thought. Still frustrating on questions not being answered. Very well. Very well said. Thank you for the 1236 again. And you're a continuing supporter, obviously, of Goof On. So thank you for that. And then there's another one from, and it won't show up, from Jan. $11.11 on PayPal. Just a straight up support, no message. And thank you. Appreciate that. Again, you're a continuing supporter, and I can't thank you enough for that. And then earlier today, Jeanette with $12.30, which I didn't see earlier today, so I'm mentioning it again. Jeanette, her message was, let's see what they have to say today. Probably the same thing, but on a different day. Who knows? Thank you so much for live streaming. Thank you, Jeanette. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. I say that every day, I guess, right? But I appreciate your support. And then we had, I mentioned these. I just showed them during the show. Trubiu, $5, loves the conversation. Jeanette, $5 super dono. Thank you. Steve K became a new member on Truthology for Ufology. It says YouTube member on my end, but it does say he became a member of Truthology for Ufology. And then Trubiu mentioned that the guy with the bandana did have cancer. So thank you for that, Trubiu. And everybody else, mucho gusto, generoso. Like I said, we do it here. Truthology. Oh, Truthology for Ufology. For you. For me. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, the 27th. Be well, be happy, and alien bless. I changed it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
Warning. Control life. Warning. Warning. Failure. Control life. Warning.
Unidentified flying object